And I ask, would you like a musical intro? That's not yes, nor is it a slightly no, Mr. Zach. Ew, that's the first time I've ever called you by your Mr. and name. Oh, jeez, I'm not showing off right now.
think you lost the game there just a little bit. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Who is My Doctor?
Who is my doctor?
Who is indeed. I'm your host, Zach, and I know a lot about Doctor Who.
And I'm also your host, Cassie. And I know just enough about Doctor Who that if I was being quizzed on it in the airport before they let me get on the plane, I think I'd do okay.
You know how the TSA will ask you questions about Doctor Who?
Fully, though, the TSA did ask me questions about, like, what's your name? What was your childhood address? Because I thought that I could go through TSA with a paper photocopy of my driver's license because I had lost my actual driver's license. Turns out the DMV lies. TSA does not like it when you go through with a photocopy of your government ID.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. But today we're going to watch Series 6, Episode 12, Closing Time.
That's the only part of the song that we actually know.
I know. I love Closing Time. It's one of my favorite songs.
I know who I want to take me home. Thank you.
It appears to be our cat. That's who you want to have take you home.
Bailey hates when I sing. We've established I'm not bad. At least I don't think I'm bad.
I don't think you're bad.
I mean, I went to school for it. Certainly I'm not bad.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Out of practice, yes.
So today's episode is one of, I think maybe the only sequel. Oh no, I think it's our second sequel episode that we ever really get in this series.
Can you elaborate sequel episode?
So an episode that is not, it's not part two of a two-parter. It is following up on a story from a previous episode. So we had that once before where we went from, remember the cat nurses? And
yeah.
that took place in the same world as Gridlock. Those were basically, that's basically a continuation of that world. In this case, the story we are continuing is the story of one Jimothy Corden.
Now, wouldn't you consider, though, any time that there is an episode with the same character, like that's kind of a sequel?
So what I mean more is like it's following the story, but isn't like following directly the episode previous. Does that make sense?
No.
Either way, the point is we're doing a sequel story with James following up on Craig. James Corden's character. James Corden's character from The Lodger last season. What might you be expecting from the return of James Corden?
Oh, Craig.
Craig.
I hate the name Craig.
We expect Cassie to be angry from the name Craig.
Craig. Remind me about the Lodger.
So the Lodger was...
Okay, wait, hold on. This is a good practice for me. Hey, Cassie, what was the Lodger about? Oh my God, Cass, I'm so glad you asked. So Lodger had the doctor making a machine in a bedroom out of an umbrella. And Craig being in love with a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets taken upstairs by the neighbor
mm-hmm.
who is wanting to power his time machine with people.
You're shockingly closer than I was expecting you to get to.
I'm also shockingly, and the doctor plays soccer. I remember that part.
The doctor does play soccer,
and the doctor do be playing soccer.
He do be footing the ball.
Sorry, football. That's right. He's playing soccer. Craig and him are playing soccer. I just remember the little girl being on the top of the stairs being like, "Can you help me? Please? I need help. Can you please help me?" And it being like horror coded, but not actually
Is there anything
scary.
I think that may be the most Moffat-y thing is just having
Can you please help me?
a creepy child repeating a sentence.
Please. It usually has something to do with the child being in need.
Yeah.
So,
Are you my mummy?
Yeah, are you my mommy?
Can you
help me? And then the water, the ick in the corner of the apartment.
Yes. So just to give you a brief rundown of your memory, the TARDIS has difficulty landing outside this guy's house.
Because it's not a house, it's a spaceship.
Exactly.
It's just
but moreover the
veiled.
Yes, but moreover the story was really the Doctor exploring this while Craig tries to come to terms with his love of his best friend, Sophie.
I remember it was like a white lady name.
It was a white lady name. And we are picking up with them about a year later at this point.
Okay, so it is a like real-time year later.
Yeah, it's more or less a year later. This is also, for the Doctor, this is shortly after the end of the last episode. He has just dropped off Amy and Rory in their TARDIS blue house, and he is
and his bitchin' red car
and his bitchin' red car.
Stuart Little drives a car like that too.
Are you implying Rory is Stuart Little?
I'm not implying Rory is Stuart Little.
Well, speaking of Little,
he's a man that looks like a mouse.
Speaking of Little, let's get into the Cassie Prefassy today. This episode, do you remember Tomb of the Cybermen that we watched not too long ago?
Boy, do I! Do I?
Well, this episode features the modern series' first return of the Cybermats.
Oh no!
Which if
you're gonna ask me to tell you what it is. You're gonna ask me to describe what a modern Cybermat is.
So if you'll remember, Cybermats were.
I remember, Zach.
It's as dead as a stone.
I do remember that. Well,
I'm not going to ask you exactly what a modern Cybermat looks like because they mostly look the same,
and they mostly will get the same response. My answer: a little guy. It's just another way. We've done this before.
They only really have one pretty big design change from their classic counterparts.
They've got human faces now.
Just a human, not even like a whole human head, just a human face.
Just a human face.
Or
hands.
Would you care to guess what that one design change is, Cassie?
Do you want to hear what my honest to God ADHD answer was as soon as he finished that question?
Sure.
A clipboard.
What? What does that mean? They don't have hands.
A thing to take notes. They could have little iPads or something.
Just like one strapped to their back so the Cybermen could take notes off the back of them.
It's just attached via a string. It's dragging around. Don't worry about him. He's just got his own clipboard.
I worry about your brain sometimes, Cassie.
Me too.
So, do you want to take a
glasses?
Guess?
Well, they kind of had little glasses before.
Yeah, they had big eyes.
Yeah, they were wearing glasses.
Yeah, they were like glued onto the outside of their faces. What might you? But we're in a modern sensibility now with modern times and modern abilities.
The last ones had wheels already.
Mm-hmm. So are you guys saying these ones have feet? Is that what you're getting at?
Maybe. Like little millipedes. Like, that's what I mean by feet. It is way funnier to picture them with like
2 human feet.
I was going to say 4 small human feet, like baby shoes.
Okay.
They're all wearing tiny
Cybermat shoes never worn.
Zach, that's like the saddest 4-word story you've ever said.
So your guess is we see like their underside, we see the little feets.
Yeah. Feet's in the sense of like, I know it's not going to be baby shoes, although that visual is hilarious. I do think that if they flip over, they're not going to be full on wheels. I do think that they have articulation of some.
Okay. So just some kind of insectoid leg is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll accept that as an answer for sure. And also in this episode,
because I would be gagged if they had on them a clipboard or some kind of iPad. Because that's also so fucking funny. If they have little like go-go gadget shoes, they just pop a little button in the sole and a pen pops out so they can take notes. I guess that's more of a get smart thing, huh?
2 of them like come together. One's holding the clipboard, the other one's holding the pen, and they're working together.
Yeah.
And the second part of the prophecy today is that in this episode, the doctor gets a job. Where do you think the doctor might work, Cassie?
A deli.
He works in a deli?
I think so. That was the first answer that came up.
Slicing meats and cheeses.
A deli, can I make a generalization of just saying like a customer service role?
Well, in the sense
like
that
a deli, a barista, a
food service is what you're getting at. I would accept food service in there.
Or like working in a market.
Okay. So like just a job in a shop.
I definitely get the feeling that this episode will entail him going like above and beyond to like protect Craig.
Okay.
In some capacity. And in doing so, Craig is going to be like annoyed.
Okay.
Not annoyed by it, but just like, no, we're fine. Leave us alone. And then the doctor's just going to start like popping up in.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, the doctor's going to be like popping up in different places. So I definitely think he's going to be in, can I say a shop and have that be just vague enough?
Okay, I'll count that. All right, so we will find out together if the Cybermat's got little feet and if the doctor's working in a store.
If the Cybermat's wearing little shoes and if the doctor's working customer service.
If the Cybermat's got 10 toes.
A crock for each toe.
The Cybermat's going to have feet. Faux-oui?
Faux-oui.
We will find out together as we watch Closing Time. This episode of Who is My Doctor is brought to you by Goo Goo Pro. If you're a baby who's tired of the old-fashioned ways of doing business, like yelling, flailing, crying, not sleeping for several hours, it's time to upgrade. With Goo Goo Pro, you can organize your busy schedule of naps, bottles, and spontaneous wailing with cutting-edge baby technology. It's the only productivity app for babies by babies. Here's some quotes from some satisfied customers. Goo goo, ga. Ga ga goo, ba ba ga, ga. And then ga ga grrr, ga ga da. Truly revolutionary. And you know it's a product you can trust when you remember the CEO's slogan, Blubby Gooblu Baba. So whether you're a newborn CEO or just taking your first steps towards household domination, Goo Goo Pro is here to help you gaga to your goals. And we are back from closing time.
I was right about the doctor working in a shop.
You were, in fact, right about the doctor working in a shop.
Working in customer service.
But the Cybermats do not have little feet. They got teeth.
To be exact, they are silver rats with real mouths, according to Craig.
So what did you think of the episode, Cassie?
I liked it.
Yeah, I like this one too.
I'm not sitting here being like, oh, new favorite, but I'm like, what a solid episode.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice, like, almost refresher from how emotional the last one ended with the Doctor like saying goodbye.
It feels a little bit not vignette-y just because it is still having everything to do with the overarching story.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to see the Doctor and a friend.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like the Doctor has many friends.
Or
other than like Jack Harkness.
He does have friends, but he so often will like take them on their like seasons of journey and then they go away forever.
Yeah.
Like there was a little bit of an exception at the very end of David Tennant's run. But for the most part, like once a companion is done, they're kind of done.
Like it's less so that Craig feels like a companion and truly that like Craig feels like one of the only like human friendships the Doctor has. Friendship in the sense of like
someone that you just see occasionally. That you're not
where
spending.
It's like, oh yeah, that's one of my best mates. I talk to them once every 8 to 10 months. I love this person with my whole life. A very adult
millennial friendship.
Yeah, I love this person with my whole life. I would do anything for them.
Except see them more than twice a year.
Yeah. The old best friends only see each other once a year. Like in addition to holidays, it's like once a year. Yeah,
it's I enjoy it. I enjoy the like there's like a really they do a bit in it where somebody thinks that Craig and the Doctor
It's not somebody. It's
Val.
It's Val, the Doctor's tea spilling coworker.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love her. If I worked with Val, oh my God, she would be coming over every other Wednesday for gossip. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I love that woman.
She's under the impression that Craig and the Doctor are lovers, are
partners because companion feels a little old fashioned.
Yes. And so they do a little bit of a joke there, but I really do feel like this is a generally positive male friendship that you don't get a lot of.
Yeah. Like from your perspective, because I feel like male friendships operate very differently from like female friendships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because here it's very like there's a. I do want to note that I believe the writer is a gay man. He's a transphobic gay man, but he is a gay man. So there is an element of someone who wants to write stories where men are more sensitive than they might be portrayed by someone who is a traditionally straight man. And as such, I think they do a good job of making them feel like they are two people that like each other, that care about each other, that...
Well, Craig is literally willing to go and risk his life for the Doctor, despite being told, do not follow me.
Yes. And I really like... Oh, I also especially like the way the Doctor treats Craig.
Yeah.
Because Craig is kind of an awkward guy. So there's a part of it where it's just like, he's not like rude. He's not even like machismo. He's just like anxious. But the Doctor is like this charismatic figure that when he showed up the first time, there was like this unintentional like feud between them.
Yeah.
Where the Doctor was almost like showing off. But this time they do sort of the opposite, where the Doctor is like, you know, his best friend that showed up to like help him take care of a baby for the weekend.
Not a baby, his baby.
Right. Sorry, not a baby.
Stormageddon.
Dark Lord of all.
Yeah. Get his name right, Zach.
Yes. I had a feel when you mentioned how much you liked that the Doctor spoke baby.
Oh my God. I was so delighted because I completely forgot about that.
This episode immediately popped into my head and I was like, Cassie's going to love an entire episode centered around the Doctor being able to speak baby.
Well, because it wasn't just a drive-by comment about the Doctor speaking baby. It's like a whole point.
Mm-hmm.
Half of the context and like half of the story is Craig not feeling like he is a suitable like father. And the Doctor almost one-upping him in his dad prowess, if for no other reason than he can literally speak to his son. And not just do the thing that, like, parents, and admittedly, like, I'm not a human parent, I'm a pet parent, where you fill in the blanks. You're projecting yourself through your child or through your pet and saying, oh, I know what they want because you fucking don't. But the fact that the doctor fully understands what Stormy needs.
Not just what he needs, but that he calls Craig not mom.
Yeah, the difference is you're either mom or you're not mom or you're peasant. And truthfully, I would rather be not mom.
And also, I like that part of the justification we get later that Alfie doesn't like Craig is that Craig doesn't have boobs. He doesn't have mammary glands, and that's why Alfie likes mom.
I mean, she's life bringer, food provider. What does not mom do?
Apparently has panic attacks.
Yeah, he flails out. He freaks out. Could you imagine? Could you imagine having somebody who is your everything and then she leaves you in the care of somebody who is doing nothing for you but also crying?
You know what this episode feels like?
What?
This episode feels like Kermit and Gonzo going on an adventure together. Because James Corden has some Kermit the Frog energy in this story. It's like the way he wants to flail his arms, the way I feel like the noise he most constantly wants to make is.
The doctor is very gonzo-y, isn't he?
Yeah, especially this doctor is a very just like shows up, says something weird, looks into the camera.
Is in love with a chicken.
Does that make Arthur Darvill? Does that make Rory Rizzo?
Yes, that also makes the TARDIS Camilla.
And then I do like some of the little touches that we get building up to the overarching narrative of this season. I think the
Wait, can you clarify something for me?
Sure.
When does the doctor learn what date he is going to die? When did that reveal happen? Because I think I missed it.
So hang on. Because I know the visual of it, but I'm blanking on when the actual like episode.
Because if
happened.
you had told me James Corden gives the doctor his Stetson, I would say you're wrong.
Yeah, you had specifically thought that he stopped at a tourist trap, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and he didn't pay for it, and that was my thought, and that was my genuine, utter belief.
So it was at the end of Let's Kill Hitler. He had taken the information off of the Tesselecta. That showed what the day he died was. And, and he had a couple times where he looked back at it in the TARDIS, or it was like on a little TV screen in there.
Okay.
It was the same TV screen that like showed Amy being both pregnant and not pregnant.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he's been building up to this for a little bit. He knows the day he's going to die, and that is...
at Lake Silencio.
Yes, as Madame Kavarian says, with just maximum amount of teeth.
My God, that's where the not Tesseract. Oh my God, Cybermat. That's where the Cybermat got its fucking teeth.
Yeah,
well, because when you had said what was the new addition to the Cybermat, I was thinking you were cheating your way out and saying it was lights this time. I was not prepared for flesh and bone.
Yep, for speaking of the Cybermats, can I ask you a little question now?
These ones are not little guys.
I was going to say, who is more a little guy? Daleks or Cybermats?
Oh, Dalek.
Dalek's more a little guy?
I mean, on the inside.
And which is where it counts.
Which is literally, they're just like jellyfish people.
Little squid monsters.
Yeah, jellyfish have no feelings. You can flip them around. You can poke them. They don't have any nerves. They don't know.
They've got some nerve, all right.
I will say I did clock that they added some extra sounds to the Cyberman's voice.
Yeah, there was definitely like some lower frequencies going on here. I think that was to show that they were kind of falling apart. I don't know that was to be like...
I liked it. I really liked it a lot.
But this episode also features a lot of little buildups to the overarching narrative of the season. I think the most subtle one being I guess not subtle, but the most like the least impactful one is the reveal of Amy and Rory having where they are in their lives. That Amy's now a model for a perfume and is gaining some notoriety.
Hey, perfume model, can I have your autograph? The thing you're famous for? Because it's 2011. There's phones.
Mm-hmm.
Selfies is not a new thing.
I just can't imagine in general, like a lot of little girls wanting the picture of like not.
If I was out in the wild at that age and I saw Tyra Banks, I would have freaked out.
Yeah, but Karen Gill, But Amy Pond's not like Tyra Banks level. She's just
the
model in that store.
I'm saying, well, that's the thing though. No, wait. If you are a model, it's not like you're a model for that store. Like if you're a campaign model, you're everywhere, dude.
I guess that's fair. And also it might be very different in the UK because that's a much smaller.
But that's what I'm saying is if
their faces might just be
if
more.
If you are a child with ADHD and hyperfixations on fashion, like I briefly was, if I saw a model that I was really like, Tyra Banks was the only one that I really like glommed onto because of life size, admittedly. So less model and more actor, but also because she was literal Barbie to me. I was like, anytime I saw her, I was like, fuck, it's Eve, my special friend.
And now she's been replaced by Margot Robbie.
Barbie, my special friend. It's strange that she asks for her autograph and not a picture.
Yeah.
Because if it was 2006, I'd say, that makes sense.
That might just be the results of a grown man of a different generation writing that part of the episode.
Perhaps.
But there's also like the doctor reveals that what he's doing right now is going on.
Petrichor is the name of the perfume.
Yes, Petrichor is the name of the perfume.
Sorry to interrupt you. I've been bothering myself with trying to remember what the name of the perfume is.
And the tagline was, for the girl that's tired of waiting.
Because you know how quickly you walk when I spray the smell of rain on asphalt on me? That really gets your gas going, huh?
It moves you through time and space whenever you spray some Petrichor on you.
I swear to God, if the perfume was blue, I would have freaked out. It was pink.
If the perfume was in a police box.
And the light on top was a little
and she was wearing a bow tie and suspenders.
And also a fez.
God, that'd be a very lesbian photo shoot if she's wearing a bow tie, suspenders, and a fez.
And nothing else. Wow. I'm still laughing at the concept now of Rory being Rizzo. What does that make Amy?
Pepe.
Eh.
I'm sure there's a better. Actually, I guess Amy really would be Miss Piggy if we're talking about who would play her, but it's less the vibe if in that case. But Captain Jack Harkness is Pepe.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm
getting... My God, giant Pepe face. The face of Pep.
The face of Prawn.
That's much better. I'm so sorry to get us off topic because now this is all I'm going to be thinking about. Who is my Muppet?
So just to talk a little bit about talking more about the overarching season stuff, the doctor also reveals that he's going on a bit of a farewell tour right now because he knows he's about to die. And that's why he visits Craig. He just shows up because he's like, hey, I'm going to die in a couple days. So I just figured I'd come over and say hello.
Hello. And then he leaves.
Yeah, that was literally what his plan was. He walked in, said hi, and he was like, all right, time to go check out Exodore and like get my TARDIS in that little crack in time while I still can. And then he can't because the Cyberman's doing their thing.
I know he said Exodore, but in my head I heard Andor.
Oh, he wants to go to Star Wars?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God, that's so much fun to think about the TARDIS being flown through space and time with
landing on the Death Star.
Well, that, but specifically if the TARDIS was voiced by Paul Rubens and was a small, lovable robot.
So you took a Flight of the Navigator?
No, DJ.
DJ Rex.
R3UX.
So Flight of the Navigator is another spaceship that's voiced by Paul Rubens.
Oh. Well, glad we got that sorted out.
So I like the idea that the Doctor doesn't land on Endor. He lands in Galaxy's Edge, like Disneyland Galaxy's Edge.
I do like that. Despite Craig only really having known the Doctor for, well, I guess he did live with them for quite some time, didn't he?
He lived there for several days, if not weeks.
I thought it was like a month.
It was a while. It was not. I don't know that it was a full month, but it was certainly a while.
It was long enough for Craig to be able to clock, and I quote, "You've got your noticing face on." But just one of my favorite things when somebody knows another person well enough to be like, you've got your thinking face. Why do you have your thinking face?
Why is your face scrunched like that?
Yeah, you've done it with me a handful of times, and I think it's very endearing because it's like it shows that the person is paying attention to the other, whether they know that they are doing something or not. So in that moment, I was like, aw. Aw, Craig is paying attention to the doctor. That's so cute.
I wonder, it almost makes you wonder if the doctor's shown up at some point in the last, like, few months before Alfie was born, for them to have picked up on that face. I only really have like one hiccup with this episode, and it was
they only mention a robot dog. They don't even have the decency to say canine. Yeah, that's my hiccup too, Zach.
No, it's not that. It was, and honestly, it wasn't even a thought I had first had. It was pointed out to me after the fact by friend of the pod. She's not been on the pod, but she's a friend, Zaria, aka Diamanda Hagen. We were talking about this episode at a
Diamanda Hagen?
Yeah.
That's such a cool name. What a cool name, Diamanda Hagen.
Yeah, she's also the only person I know that is canonically in Doctor Who.
That's very cool, Diamanda Hagen.
Yeah, without going too much into the details there, she is a canon character in the universe of Doctor Who, at least in the novelizations.
Whoa.
We were talking about this episode at a convention once, and she had said, it seems kind of rude to all the other people who turned into Cybermen to be like, none of them loved their family enough to pop out of the suit. It's only Craig who hurt his baby that loved his family enough to resist being converted.
Here's my thought on that, to like immediate rebuttal. I think that Craig is just like dumb enough that his like animal instinct to protect his son is much more like volatile, because if like I think her name is Shauna.
Shauna.
Like she got kidnapped like while she was closing up shop and like at work. She wasn't thinking about her family. She was scared for her life. And not that you wouldn't be screaming and freaking out enough about your own life that you couldn't save yourself. But I think there is something to the instinct to save something that you made.
I do like that the doctor sort of like lampshades that a bit, being like, oh no, it wasn't love. It was because you're a human with an instinct to protect your own spawn, to protect your own genes.
Yeah.
So there's a part of it that's like, all right. But I do agree with her a little bit that it is just kind of like, I mean, nobody in all the history of Cybermen has ever been like, we are converting your daughter and she is screaming, and then we will convert you and neither of you are going to do anything about it. I mean, there's a part of me where it's like the like person that cares deeply about story and canon and like overarching plot certainly cares about that, but the person that just like enjoys sitting down and watching an episode of Doctor Who doesn't care.
No.
So I'm of
like I said, they make enough points in this to say that Craig is simple-minded fool. As exemplified by any time the doctor shushed him, he would shush.
He had an underdeveloped brain, is the exact thing he said.
So there is a part of me that's like, no. Jerk.
Good news, Cassie, your brain is developed.
So there is a part of me that does think that, like there's I don't want to call it like beginner's luck, but there is the like, I'll refer to it more as like savant's luck, where like you are very skilled in one thing and one like in that one thing you're so very good at. And in everything else, you're absolute garbage.
Idiot savant, yes.
Yes, me. Hi. I think that's Craig.
I don't think you're an idiot. Well, not seriously. Sometimes I like to call you one as a bit, but
I mean, hey, they call me personality hire for a reason. Anyways. But I think that there is an argument to be made of that emotion and that like need to protect his own spawn being so because they say it like in the cheesiest way at the end, that love.
You killed him with love.
I killed him with love.
I mean, there's also to be said of these are very clearly weakened Cybermen. There's only 6 of them, and they don't even have a leader.
No, there's 6 of them. They're made out of spare parts.
Yeah, so there's a part of it's like
these are like
there's all
half
kinds
Cybermen.
Yeah, there's all kinds of justifications you can
and
make
if
for
they
that
were
hang-up.
just made, they're like new.
Yeah.
Ish.
So there's, like I said, there's a lot you could do, and ultimately I feel like
it doesn't fucking matter.
Ultimately, like the story is not about the Cybermen. The story is about Alfie and Craig.
Yeah, the story is about Matt Smith monologuing to a baby.
Yeah, you enjoyed that moment quite a bit.
Oh my God. Well, because when you pointed out that Matt Smith likes to monologue, I've been clocking it more and more. This one, though, my favorite.
It's the situation certainly is better. My favorite monologue is next season. And I think everybody knows what I'm talking about because it's probably his biggest monologue, but we'll get to that then. But I do like his just like, I do like the evidence that Matt Smith will monologue to anything, even a baby.
Yeah, nothing is safe.
He's going to monologue to a tree soon. And
yeah, he's going to give it some of his oxygen. Just
only that oxygen will be all the hot air he's expelling during a monologue.
Jeez.
But yeah, I had a good time. I enjoyed watching this with you. I thought I had a feeling you were going to like it. I thought this was probably, I think this is better than the first James Corden episode.
Considering how much I remembered from it, I liked the first one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I didn't like it. I just want to say that I think I like this one a little bit more.
I can tell how well I like an episode based off of how much I remember from it.
And you did remember a surprising amount of that one.
I did remember a surprising amount, so I think I liked that one.
I guess we'll see if you remember a surprising amount of this one.
One more thing.
Okay.
I have a new bit.
Okay.
Anytime I'm getting really overstimulated, it's just there's too many sounds, I'm feeling too many emotions. I'm just gonna put my hands to my head and just start going overload, overload, overload.
Well, maybe you'll have to do that.
Overload.
On the next episode of Who Is My Doctor?
Overload.
Overload indeed.
That's a stupid bit, Zach.
Only one more episode before we finish off the story of Series 6. I am so excited. The next one was so much fun to edit and listen back to, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it. If you just can't wait, you can head over to patreon.com/whoismydoctor and get access to episodes of this podcast as much as a week early for as little as $1 a month, like the episode on the wedding of River Song. That's actually especially important this week because we are taking next week off while I am out of town for my birthday. I promise I didn't plan it this way. I wasn't trying to manipulate you into getting the last episode of the season on Patreon. It just happened to line up like this. You know what? If you're mad at me, you could come let me know on Twitter, Blue Sky, or Threads at WimDpod. That's WIMDPOD. I'd like to give a big thanks to our Big Daddy Dalek patrons, Andrew Blewett and David Gansel, and I will see you again on May 20th, because once my birthday is over, your Tuesdays go back to being Who's Days. See you then.